Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Tracer Touring series, where I'm preparing my bike for a trip to Scotland and for general long distance touring. First, a couple of things. I will be traveling next week, so I can't make any videos. I might record the videos and edit and upload them while I'm out. And the other thing I wanted to say is, as soon as I'm back from that trip, I'm taking the Tracer to the dealer to install the GPS with all the electronic connections. So right now, what I'm going to do today is installing the Sena 10U communication system on my Schuberth, and let's go straight to it. So like I showed before, I got the 10U system from Sena for communication. This system allows you to listen to music via Bluetooth when you're riding, make phone calls, hear all your mobile phone notifications. It allows you to talk with other riders or your passenger. I think it allows for up to 10 bikes to be connected at the same time. This model is specific to this helmet. So Sena has a lot of other systems for generic helmets. I actually have one here. I've seen a system from them on my Shoei GTR helmet. But they've made this specific model for this helmet, and they have for a few more helmets. And the advantage of this one is, of course, it fits inside the helmet completely, so there's no volume outside the helmet. The battery stays in the back, the speakers are inside, and everything is done to fit with the padding and the interior of the helmet, so that's a very neat installation. And then their solution is to have kind of a remote system that you clip onto the handlebars, and that's where you control the volume and things like that. So I'm curious to see how that works. Now I know I've seen from other reviews on YouTube that the 10U for Schuberth C3 Pro has the best speakers, while the 10U for other helmets have smaller speakers, therefore the quality is not as good. The sound quality is not as good. And they say the reason is actually because of the helmet manufacturers that have smaller speaker pockets than Schuberth, so they cannot make such a big speaker with such a good sound quality. So that's yet another advantage of getting a Schuberth instead of other helmets. So let's open this one up. I probably need something to open it up. How am I supposed to open this? I don't understand. You just slide it out. So what is this thing? Whatever. Okay. So this is how it's presented in the box. This is the remote control. Oh, it's fairly heavy. I guess it has battery. It has metal axle here when it pivots, and it will clamp on the handlebar. I hope this is in focus. This is kind of a joystick. I thought it was a rotating button to adjust the volume, but it's kind of a joystick, so might be interesting. A couple of buttons. Yeah, this is Bluetooth, and you probably have to charge it somehow. I don't know how. Here it is. So I also read that this one has a battery charge that lasts for a month. So you shouldn't have to take it out of the bike every day like you have to recharge the helmet piece. So that's pretty cool. And then this is, of course, the system itself. It's a bit of a jungle of wires and things like that. But as you can see, this comes all pre-assembled. And all the wires are cut to size, and their thermal finishing is pretty good. Here's the microphone, and there's the volume adjustment buttons. So one thing I'm curious to see is, I think these buttons, let me show you here. Those volume buttons will be sitting in here, right? So what's really interesting is that to adjust the volume, you will have to open your visor, which is not the best thing. You don't want to open when you're riding and it's raining. And then if you have your wet gloves, you don't want to put the wet gloves inside. But I'm also hoping that the joystick will allow to adjust the volume without actually having to open the visor, so I really hope that's the case. So this is the piece of kit. Yeah, the speakers are exactly the same that I have on the Shoei, which is the better ones. And then further inside it comes with, let me take this out. These are the Velcro adhesive patches that you put inside the helmet to attach the speakers in place, so you can always remove them and only this very thin strip of Velcro will stay there. There's also an extra microphone cover. This is a USB cable to recharge, obviously. There's some more foam inserts. I know you can always select different sizes depending on your ears and your comfort preference, so that's cool. And some more foam covers. And this is, I think these are rubber strips. They might be for this one so that it actually has something to grip. I don't know. I'll have to look at the instructions. Speaking of instructions, this is it. It's not a lot. Usually they send a big book. Free upgrade firmware. Oh yeah, the Sena has an app for Android and iOS, and I had a Windows Phone, and the Windows Phone doesn't have an app for, or Sena doesn't have an app for Windows Phone. TomTom also doesn't have an app for Windows Phone. Garmin doesn't have an app for Windows Phone. Nobody has an app for Windows Phone. So I just got a new phone, which is Samsung S7 Edge. This is an Android phone, so I've installed the app already to connect to the communication system. And what the app allows you to do, because I tried it before with the other system, is allows you to manage the connections to the communication system, meaning the other people that are connected to your system and can talk to you, like the passenger and other bikes. It also allows you to tune radio and select radio stations and pre-program, and then you just need to move around the pre-programmed stations with these buttons. And it allows you to update the firmware and a couple of other things like see battery charge levels and things like that. So it's a neat app. You don't need it to use, so you can use the system like I was using without the app. It's just that it's not as easy to manage. Quick reference. So this is an interesting thing that they send, and I think it's useful. This is kind of a chart with the shortcuts for the buttons. If you want to power on, you need to do this. If you need to pair a mobile phone, you have to press the joystick for 5 seconds. So these are all shortcuts, and of course you don't carry this with you, but you should learn at least the basics. Maybe take a picture and take the picture with you on the phone, and then if you're out there riding and you don't remember how to do something, you can just look at the picture on the phone and read the instructions. That's what I do a lot of the times. Here are the installation instructions. So they say it's 5 steps. I don't know if it's going to be that easy. I hope it is, but we'll see. Alright, so let's go. I think these things I won't need right now. The USB cable, not for sure. So let's see what they say. First step. Where are we looking at? I think they're showing this piece. Oh, this is probably the antenna. Now I see there's some kind of electronic circuitry in here. So this soft piece is the antenna for the radio probably, or also for the Bluetooth communication. Yeah, it looks like you have to remove or detach the liner and this stuff as well. Okay. Yeah, I need to remove this The strip around the neck needs to be removed, the one with the reflective padding, and I don't know how, so let me try and figure out away from the camera. Alright, I got it. There's some attachment here at the edge. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but there's a little pin at the end of this collar, and this little pin is kind of stuck in there, and then this kind of supporting arch frame around it is keeping it in place. So it's pretty easy to remove. You need to undo these buttons, and then it's pretty easy to remove. So that's out, and now I have to install this radio antenna between the white styro protective foam, between that and the hard shell. It's funny, I can already see inside the old, let's say old antenna, because this helmet comes with an antenna integrated in it from the factory, and then you can install the specific Schuberth communication system using that antenna that's built in. But I've read in many places that that system from Schuberth is not as good as the one from Sena, so that's why I decided to get this one. Okay, so this is supposed to go behind the red pin. I guess I just need to slide it in. There it goes. It's nice and snug. I hope you can see. Let me take a quick look here. Okay, see, it's nice and snug. Alright, next step is to install the battery. So this is the battery pack. As you can see, this is a long, thin pack, so I guess the batteries are all around here. And it goes in the back of the helmet, so it shouldn't affect the balance a lot, which is cool. Not that the other one does, to be honest. So I'm sorry for the interruption there. Apparently the camera stops recording after a while. This is also a new camera that I'm using. Anyway, going back to installing this one, I need to slide the battery with this plastic thingies. Again, inside this, between the styrofoam and the hard shell. Now that's not as easy as the other one was. Let me start by one side and then do the other. I'm trying to keep this centered. Oh, I think I got it. Now there's a question. Oh yeah, the Schuberth has these straps to hold the chin strap in place that go all the way to the back, and I just checked that the straps are supposed to be tucked between the battery pack and the helmet itself, so you don't need to put them through the straps, let's say. So it looks like, this is something I wasn't really aware, but it looks like the battery pack sits outside the helmet. You see, I hope you can see. Let me take a quick look here. So you see there's a gap there. I thought the battery would go inside this rubber strip, but apparently not, because I cannot fit it in. Or am I doing something wrong? I don't think I'm doing anything wrong, it's just... So this is right side, it has an R here and the left there, an L. So this is definitely right side, and I'm installing this in the right position. So if this really stays like this, it's a bit of a meh, you know, it's not really nicely tight. There's a big gap there, and it kind of feels like it's going to fall out of place at any moment. Okay, so I think this is the best I can do. It doesn't really go in more, and I could put it in, but then the support system is completely screwed, so I don't think that's the way to do it. Also here in the picture it looks like it's hanging a bit outside. So next step is to, I guess, put the foam pads, sorry, the Velcro stickers. So here you can see, I hope, let me see if you can see, yeah, like this. There's a cutout for the speakers, and what I need to do now is to use these Velcro patches. They're really thin, but they have a sticker. And first you put the sticker in place, and then you put the... Where are they? And then this is also kind of Velcro, so then this attaches to the Velcro sticker. So of course you need to get this helmet padding away. So you need to be careful on this step, because obviously this is self-adhesive. So if you put it in the wrong place, then I don't know how easy it is to remove and replace it. So I'm sorry, I know you guys can't really see it, but it's not easy to get a camera angle. So you see I've glued the sticker to this speaker pocket. I will do the same on the other side. Where is the other sticker? That one's also in. And now you just put the speakers in place. So I'm going to, I hope you can see, let me show you here. There is a red button here, you can see, where the padding of the helmet clasps on. You can see on the other side also the red button. I'm going to put the wire behind this button like it is right now, and then going around it and then putting the speaker right here, because then this little button will make sure that the wire doesn't go away and you won't yank all of these out of place, when you grab your helmet or something like that. So this is what I was talking about. You can see the wire goes around here and there, and then when I attach the interior liner back in there, the wire is kind of stuck in place, so it will hold it in place. So I'll do that right now. goes, and then the wire is secure. Yeah, you see the wire there is secure. So it's neatly installed. I will also lock the one in front. Do the same on the other side. I'm just making sure that I keep the wires here untangled, just because it looks neater. You already see the wire for the radio antenna. There's one wire that goes into the power and microphone, the volume and microphone, and the next wire, of course, goes to the speaker itself. Now that I'm looking at this, I think I made a mistake actually. Let me show you here. There it goes. So you see this black plastic thing is the radio antenna that I installed as a first step. But it looks like in the pictures I should be installing this, you see this little hole where I have my finger. The red attaching button should be in the middle of this hole, so actually the whole installation should be further back. And like now, it's very hard to see on the camera, but right now this antenna is kind of covering the red button, so I don't have a way to attach the liner back. So I need to move this whole installation a little bit further back. Well, back to square one, the whole thing is off. So don't make the same mistake as I did and install it further in the back. Make sure that you align this plastic strap with the red button where you're going to attach the liner. And this is now sticking. Oh, it's kind of contaminated with glue or something. So now it's a bit more difficult to put it in. Yeah, that's good. So let me show you here. So now you see that this black plastic is now all the way back to this foam section. And the red button where the liner attaches is inside this plastic loop, so I can attach it. In the meantime, like I suspected, this battery is not really held in place very strongly, so it just came out while I was taking the other thing out. So let us put it back in place. And now it's kind of conflicting with the radio antenna. Well, I guess this is as good as it gets. I'm not impressed with this piece, I must say. This battery is not really well installed there. Anyway, so I'm going to install the... Oh crap, this thing moved. The antenna that I just took off moved because of the battery pack. Let me see if I can put it back in place. Yeah. Damn it, stay there. So that speaker is now also in place. One thing that's really cool is that the Velcro is really strong. So once, if you're putting slightly sideways, it's very easy to remove. But once you perfectly align it with the Velcro and the whole thing attaches to the Velcro, then it's very difficult to take out. So you can immediately feel that it's not coming off and that it's sturdily in place. So you know that you've aligned things correctly. So that's the speakers, the battery is installed, and now all we need is the volume controls. Now let me figure out if this wire is supposed to be hidden behind the cheek pads or not. I hope so. Yeah. So you just run the wire behind the cheek pad before you attach it, and it kind of just falls in place, you know. You just push it into place and that's it. The microphone is here, the buttons are there. And now I think all I need to do is clip the cheek pad back into its place with these red buttons. This one's going to be tricky with the radio antenna. Yeah, doesn't really want to go in. Come on. The problem is, of course, there's so much stuff going on around it. There's wires, and there's the antenna support, and then there's the battery support that's behind the antenna and pushing it all out. So the button is very far from where it's supposed to attach, and it's just not that flexible to reach it. And I'm pushing as hard as I can. I'm sure I'm aligned. So. There it is. Well, that was not easy. Okay. I'm trying to see how to best route this wire for the microphone. I think this might be okay. So I have the same problem with the front red button, because there's just too much bulk there and it won't attach. It's just a matter of pushing it hard, I know, but yeah, there it is. So these red buttons are actually holding the whole thing in place. Anyway, so this is now installed. I still need to put the collar in. So again, I need to align these little bits here. So all the wires will be nicely tucked behind this collar, hopefully. But on the other hand, there's so much stuff going on around there that it's also not easy to put the collar back in place. Oh, come on. I really don't understand why don't these manufacturers just, the helmet manufacturers, I mean, why don't they just produce helmets with all of this stuff already installed from the factory and not hacking things into place like I am having to do right now? I really don't get it. Is there no market for it? I'm sure there is. So there's some value to stuff coming ready out of the factory, that's for sure. So you see, I've put in the two front bits, and then now I have to get this round thing behind the battery, behind and under the battery, and that requires some willpower. Okay, so the camera stopped recording right when I managed to fit this collar in place, so the big achievement was not captured, but it doesn't matter. So this is all neatly in place, and I guess that the battery now with the collar in place, it's just much more solid. So actually I'm going to get back on my words. I said that this was not very good, but actually when you put the collar back in place, it's now very sturdy. It doesn't move, it doesn't make any noise, so I think this is actually pretty cool. So I spoke too early, and I apologize for that. That's just what happens when I'm talking out of my ass. So plugging these two back in. So here it is. So this is the system after being installed. This is of course the microphone, the volume buttons, and then everything else is tucked away. You don't really see it, and then when you turn around, then you see the battery pack down here, and that's it. The speakers are inside. There's a little bit of mess in here. Let me fix this. Yeah, it's nice. I'm going to put on the helmet quickly because I want to give you an impression on how intrusive the speakers are in terms of ear. Well, I'm a happy man, I must say that. And the reason why I'm a happy man is with the speakers installed, I still have plenty of room for my ears. I've always struggled with the room in my ears for my Shoei helmet with the Sena system on. And one of the main reasons why I bought this one was, you know, it's more comfortable around the ears, and also I don't need to take it off as many times as I would do with that one. But after installing the system, the Sena system, I can feel, or actually I cannot feel the speakers, and that's pretty good. My ears are nice and free. They're touching a little bit on the liner, which is perfect, because before the speakers it kind of felt a bit too wide, and now it's really nice. So I'm really happy with that. I'm going to be testing the quality of the system while I'm riding, but I don't expect it to be any worse than the other. So I think it's a pretty cool system. Also, the battery is now, like I said, firmly attached in place when you put the collar back in place. So I'm also happy with that. So I think in general this is a pretty cool system. So, and the installation, I don't know how long it is, how late it is. Yeah, it took about 1 hour, I would say, in total. It could be done faster if I knew how to do it beforehand, but I haven't. You know, the one thing I have to say is that these instructions are pretty crappy. This is way too simple. But on my previous Sena system, they had much more detailed instructions, and they were saying that if you use these thick foam pads that they're sending here, it kind of makes a connection between the speaker and your ear, and therefore the sound is nicer. I haven't tried on the other one because there was so little room, and I'm not sure if I'm going to try on this one because I like the room that I have on this one, but maybe I'll give it a try, maybe not, I'll see. If I do give it a try, I'll do a review on that. So that's it. I've installed this system. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It looked like it was difficult, but I hope if you watch my video, then you can do it yourself and avoid some of the mistakes I've done. And subscribe, because I'll be uploading more videos on installing more stuff on the bike and for myself. And let me know what you think in the comments. So thanks for watching.